Nurse Lisa had been working at the children's hospital for over 10 years. Usually, nothing out of the ordinary happened, and the days went by steadily. However, one day as she was making her rounds, a newborn baby caught her eye. Mainly because, apparently, nobody had come to see the child in days. She couldn't believe what she found out about him next. Days later, Nurse Lisa still couldn't believe what she had learned about the baby. She thought it was heartbreaking how he ended up in the hospital, and she just couldn't wrap her mind around it. She had so many questions. Even though the police had gotten involved as well, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Lisa had tried everything to find the baby's real mother, and her efforts were finally being rewarded. With some help from the police, she managed to locate the woman, but she was not the kind of person that Lisa expected at all. And then she told the nurse her shocking reason for leaving the baby behind. Lisa was in absolute disbelief by what the woman was telling her, and she was fighting to hold back tears. From the moment she had seen this little boy, she had known what to do with him, and that feeling was only getting stronger now. But why did this woman leave her baby behind? Why was it so difficult to find her? And what is Lisa going to do? Nurse Lisa had been working at the children's hospital for over 10 years. Even though she had no children herself, she absolutely loved her job and enjoyed working with children. One day, as she was making her rounds in the pediatric ward, she noticed something weird. She saw a baby laying in a crib, wrapped in a towel, all alone. Of course, this was usually a perfectly normal thing to see at the pediatric ward, but in this case, Lisa had a weird feeling about it. She hadn't seen this baby during her previous shifts and figured he had been here only for a couple of days. After talking to some colleagues, Lisa found out that the baby had been brought in via an emergency call. An anonymous caller had called 911 and told them they had left the baby in a park, waiting to be found. That's how the baby ended up in the hospital. Nobody had come to visit him yet. Lisa was shocked to hear this and approached the baby to see how he was doing. She saw his tiny hand reaching out, and heart melted as she looked at his beautiful little face. She instinctively picked him up, cradled him, and began to hum a lullaby. The baby's eyes lit up, and he cooed in response. Lisa couldn't understand why somebody would just leave this sweet baby in a park like that. Days went by without any news about the parents or any visitors coming by. Lisa spent extra time with the baby, providing the love and care he needed. She knew that physical touch and affection is very important for children, especially newborns. Lisa was determined to find the parents or some other family members who could take care of the baby. He deserved to go home. He had spent more than enough time alone in the hospital. She didn't know where to start looking, but luckily, the police had also gotten involved. Right after the baby was found, the police had started an investigation to find out who had made the call. The caller had used a public payphone, so the police could not trace the number directly back to them. Luckily, in the meantime, they had found some other hints that could lead them to the caller. There were no security cameras in the park where the baby was found, but the police had been able to check the security footage of the payphone and the surrounding area. They had spotted a man carrying the same basket as the one the baby was found in. But who was he? Since not every street had security cameras, the police could not see where the man had come from or where he had gone after making the call. However, there was one conclusion they could make after watching the available security footage. The man who had left the baby was homeless. He was wearing dirty and ripped clothes, and in the footage they could see him approaching various people, presumably asking for money or food. The police couldn't determine whether he was the baby's father, but if they could locate him, he might be able to give them some answers. In the meantime, Nurse Lisa was still looking after the baby. She made sure he ate and slept enough, and that he wasn't cold. She had begun to look forward to the time they spent together every day, and the baby had also started to recognize her now. Still, Lisa hadn't forgotten about finding the baby's parents. If the man the police had found on the footage actually was the father, she needed to find him. She hoped he would be able to give them more information about the baby and his family. The police still hadn't been able to locate the man. They probably weren't even trying. They were tired of spending so much of their time on homeless people. And in their eyes, the story was always the same. They saw the people living on the street as a nuisance and didn't feel like helping them. Lisa decided to take matters into her own hands. She started taking daily walks to the park, where the baby was found. The park wasn't very far away from the hospital, so she could go there in her lunch break. She hoped to see the man from the footage, but she never saw anyone who looked like him. Weeks had passed, and the police had stopped looking for the man altogether. The hospital wanted to place the baby in foster care, and Lisa was desperate. She did not think highly of the foster system, and she worried the baby would be sent from home to home without ever finding a proper family. In her own time, Lisa had searched everywhere she could think of, but without success. Homeless shelters, shops, fast food restaurants, cheap motels. She had almost lost hope and wanted to give up. Until one day, she walked past a soup kitchen and she spotted the very same man from the security footage, waiting in line. Lisa carefully approached the man and introduced herself. She could see the man felt uncomfortable and was hesitant to speak with her, but she didn't give up. Eventually, the man succumbed and started answering Lisa's questions. Lisa was relieved, but the man didn't give her the answers she had hoped for. Lisa found out that the man was not the baby's father. He had been living on the street for a few years after he lost his job and his house. One day, he had seen a woman sitting on a bench in the same park he had left the baby in. She was crying and holding the baby. She looked very upset. He had approached her, and with tears in her eyes, she had asked him, "Can you take care of my baby?" Before he knew what was happening, she pushed the basket into his hands, said, "Please, take care of my baby," and ran off. He was left with the baby and the basket. The man realized that even though he would have enjoyed the company, there was no way that he could raise a baby on the street. So he called 911, hoping to give the baby a chance for a better future. Lisa understood and agreed that he had made the right decision. Lisa had always believed in the kindness of strangers. Every day, she met countless souls in her role as a nurse, and each one left a mark on her. The abandoned baby was a story she couldn't shake. On her way home, the crisp city air seemed to carry whispers of untold tales. She couldn't bear the thought of that tiny, innocent soul left alone in the world without a story, without an identity. "Who are you, little one?" she mused, her eyes fixed on the horizon. There, under the canvas of a sunset, she decided to embark on a journey to give the baby a past, if not a future. The next day, Lisa took a detour after her shift. The underbelly of the city, which she usually overlooked, became her focus. Littered alleyways, park benches, makeshift tents, she approached them with newfound purpose. A local soup kitchen brought her face to face with Peter, a wise-eyed homeless man who seemed to have stories etched into his wrinkles. Over a warm bowl of stew, Lisa cautiously broached the topic of the baby. Peter's guarded eyes flickered with recognition. "She came around a few times," Peter began hesitantly. "Name was Anna, I think." He scratched his grizzled beard. "A kind soul, despite the rough edges. Often spoke of a new start, hope, a future for her baby." Lisa's heart raced. Could this be a lead? She sometimes sang lullabies, hauntingly beautiful ones, Peter continued, lost in the memory. But before Lisa could press further, Peter clammed up, wary of divulging too much. Back at the hospital, Lisa's pursuit was evident. She often found herself gazing at the baby, lost in thoughts. The staff, especially Mary, a tenured nurse, noticed the change. "You're getting too close," Mary commented one evening. Lisa looked up, startled. "Every child needs love," she defended. Mary sighed. "It's not that, dear. It's just these stories rarely end well." But amid the skepticism, Lisa also felt a surge of support. Dr. James, a pediatrician, had heard of Anna too, and promised to dig deeper. Through covert discussions with Dr. James and her own ventures into the city's forgotten nooks, the picture started forming. Anna, it seemed, had been a regular in many homeless shelters, always on the move. "She used to work at that old bookstore on Elm Street," James shared, having spoken with an old colleague. A picture of Anna began to form in Lisa's mind. A woman with dreams and ambitions, but trapped by circumstances, trying her best for her unborn child. The story was only beginning, but Lisa was more determined than ever to see it through. Beneath the neon sign of Joe's Diner, Lisa approached the counter, showing Anna's picture to the owner, a portly man named Joe. "Ah, Anna," he murmured, scratching his head. "Came in a few months ago, heavy with child. Looked like she had seen better days. Wanted a waitress job. Hard-working she was." Lisa could visualize Anna, apron wrapped around her bulging belly, taking orders with a forced smile, trying to scrape by. Images swirled in Lisa's mind, painting a tableau of Anna's trials. She saw a youthful Anna, eyes filled with aspirations, working diligently in a bookstore. Then, the thunderclouds, a menacing partner, shouting matches, hands raised in violence. The bleakness of being jobless, the weight of judgmental gazes. A society is quick to castigate, slow to support. Through it all, Anna's one unwavering hope was the unborn child, a symbol of potential and redemption. With a list of potential places, Lisa set out, intent on retracing Anna's steps. The now defunct bookstore, the corners Anna might have sat, begging for change, the churches where she could have sought solace. Each location held echoes of Anna's presence, from her scribbles in a discarded notebook to the whispers of the city's disenfranchised, who remembered a silent, pregnant woman always on the move, seeking shelter and kindness.
Also, if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story.
Lisa's persistence paid off when she chanced upon Margaret, a social worker. "Anna?" she pondered. "Yes, there's a shelter, Willow Haven, a refuge for women like her." The blue door of Willow Haven welcomed Lisa. Inside, walls painted in calming pastels, and the hum of life hinted at stories of resilience and rebirth. Here, Anna had briefly found sanctuary from the tempest of her life. In the common room of Willow Haven, Anna sat, frail yet fiery. The weight of the world seemed to have etched lines into her once youthful face. As Lisa approached, their eyes met, a myriad of emotions passing between them: recognition, surprise, apprehension. "Anna?" Lisa whispered, extending a hand. "I know about your baby," she added gently. Anna's eyes, pools of sadness and hope, brimmed with tears. With a deep breath, Anna began her tale. From her aspirations to her descent into darkness, every decision, every twist of fate that led her to that fateful night. She spoke of dreams crushed, trust shattered, and her undying love for the baby she couldn't keep. "I wanted the best for him," she murmured, voice shaking. Lisa listened, empathy and admiration growing for the woman who had endured so much for love. The hushed whirring of machines filled the sterile room as Anna hesitated at the door, her gaze fixed on the tiny figure in the crib, tubes trailing from his fragile form. The enormity of emotions was evident in her trembling hands and tear-filled eyes. Nurses watched, some sympathetically, as a mother reunited with her child. Lisa, from a distance, could feel the heart-wrenching pull of love and despair. Sitting in the hospital cafeteria, the two women exchanged stories and shared a quiet solidarity. Lisa, moved by Anna's hardships, reached into her bag and handed her a business card. "I have friends who can help. Resources for counseling and housing." Anna looked up, gratitude evident, but also a trace of pride. "Thank you," she whispered, realizing that accepting help was its own form of strength. Days turned into weeks. Under Lisa's steadfast support, Anna attended counseling sessions, slowly unpacking the traumas of her past. Finding a temporary home in a shared housing community, she took small steps towards rebuilding her life. Group therapy, job interviews, relearning the rhythms of a stable life. Anna's journey, filled with stumbles and moments of grace, was a testament to her resilience. Room number 213 became familiar territory. The scent of antiseptics, the soft lullabies playing on loop, and baby Jacob. Lisa's visits became more frequent. Each time she held Jacob, her fingers tracing his delicate features, a bond deepened. Nurses would often find Lisa, whispering stories into Jacob's ear, planting seeds of love and belonging, even as his future remained uncertain. In the quiet moments, away from the hospital's hustle, Lisa would find herself lost in memories of her parents, the lessons they imparted, and the love they showered. Holding a baby photo of herself, she pondered on the kind of mother she might be. Would she have the patience, the unwavering love? The echoes of baby laughter filled her heart, hinting at a future she hadn't yet imagined. As the days brightened for Anna, the shadows of doubt lingered. Watching Lisa with Jacob, she grappled with her insecurities. Could she be the mother Jacob deserved? Nightmares of her past haunted her. What if history repeated itself? What if she failed him again? While the path to recovery was evident, the journey of self-belief was a winding one, fraught with self-doubt. The hospital room transformed. What was once a place of uncertainty now echoed with the gurgles and laughter of baby Jacob. At the center of it all was Lisa, her role evolving from a mere spectator to an active participant in Jacob's life. Feeding times, lullabies, even the occasional diaper change. With every shared moment, their connection grew, intertwining their destinies. Anna, in the quiet moments when Lisa cradled Jacob, watched intently. The gentle way Lisa's fingers brushed against Jacob's forehead, the warmth in her eyes, and the soft lullabies she hummed. There was a palpable tenderness in every gesture. It made Anna's heart heavy with gratitude and something more, a deep-seated realization that, amidst all the chaos, Jacob had found another beacon of love. Beneath the fluorescent lights of the hospital's cafeteria, Anna and Lisa sat in contemplation. Their shared love for Jacob weighed on their minds. What does the future hold for him? Anna's voice trembled. He deserves so much. Lisa's hand reached across the table, her grip firm and reassuring. They both knew that the choices ahead would shape a little life in profound ways. Anna's first session was a tempest of emotions. The therapist's room, with its muted tones and plush chairs, became a sanctuary. Lisa, instrumental in setting up these meetings, hoped they would unlock Anna's healing. Memories were unpacked. Pain, guilt, hope, resilience. Each session, a step towards understanding and acceptance. Anna, slowly but surely, began to rebuild her fractured self. Lisa spent hours poring over legal documents and speaking with lawyers about guardianship and rights. There were forms, court procedures, and child welfare meetings. She wanted to be prepared, to understand what lay ahead. It wasn't about ownership, but responsibility. Lisa's objective remained clear: ensure Jacob's well-being at all costs. And through the maze of legal jargon, her determination only grew. With every therapy session, Anna's demeanor changed. She held herself differently, more upright, as if she was shedding the weight of her past. Enrolled in a vocational program, she was determined to rebuild. Updates of her securing a part-time job, joining a support group, and even moving into her own small apartment signaled her re-emergence into a world she once feared. The quiet of the night was Lisa's most reflective time. In the solitude, her thoughts raced. Did she overstep? Was her connection with Jacob eclipsing his bond with Anna? The responsibility felt immense. The balance between supporting Anna and loving Jacob was a delicate one. Lisa's journal became her confidant, filled with scribbled thoughts, dreams, and the ever-present question, what's best for him? Lisa's friends, sensing her internal conflict, rallied around. Over cups of coffee, they shared stories, tales of fostering, guardianship, and even adoption. Their experiences were diverse, from joyous moments to heart-wrenching decisions. Their counsel was invaluable. "Listen to your heart," one friend advised. Another added, "But always, always consider what's best for the child." Their collective wisdom became Lisa's guiding light. As Anna sat in the dimly lit room of her small apartment, the weight of the world seemed to press upon her shoulders. The framed photo of Jacob on the nightstand caught the glint of a passing car's headlights, bringing his innocent face into focus. Tears welled up as she contemplated her ability to provide for him and whether she was his best option. The lawyer's office was a maze of tall bookshelves filled with volumes of statutes and case laws. Lisa, feeling out of place but determined, clutched her notes tightly. She needed to understand Jacob's potential future, from guardianship to full adoption. The lawyer, a middle-aged woman with a kind face, listened intently before beginning to outline the complexities and options available. In the solitude of her room, surrounded by the faint sounds of the city, Anna pondered the unimaginable. She played with the idea of adoption, mulling over whether she could bear it, and if it would truly be the kindest choice for Jacob. Without specifying where or to whom, she began to research and understand what giving Jacob a different future might entail. Rain tapped on the window pane as Anna and Lisa sat opposite each other. The mood was thick with anticipation. "Lisa," Anna began, her voice shaky, "I've been thinking about Jacob's future." As she shared her thoughts, the implication became clear. Anna believed Lisa might offer Jacob something she currently couldn't. The room was filled with tears, understanding, and the beginning of a new chapter. The coffee shop hummed with background chatter, but to Lisa, the room was silent except for Anna's breathing. Taking a deep breath, Lisa said, "Anna, I've been thinking. I want to offer Jacob a home with me." Anna looked up, startled, as Lisa continued, "I can't bear the thought of him in foster care. I've grown to love him so much." The adoption journey was a roller coaster of emotions. Both women grappled with waves of joy, anxiety, hope, and fear. Support groups became a sanctuary, where Lisa learned the myriad feelings experienced by birth mothers and adoptive parents alike. As the days passed, papers were filled, home studies conducted, and introspections deepened, setting the stage for a life-altering decision. The smell of polished wood and ink pervaded the courthouse. Lisa, with documents neatly arranged in a folder, attended hearings, met officials, and waited in long corridors. Every signature and stamp brought her closer to Jacob. The legal maze was intricate, but Lisa's determination and the support of her lawyer made each step more surmountable. In a room lit with afternoon sun, Lisa held Jacob close, the final adoption papers signed and sealed beside them. The weight of their new relationship, mother and son, settled warmly around them. Their home was filled with laughter, toys, and most importantly, love. It was the start of their shared journey, one of challenges, but immense joy. The shadows of the past started to recede for Anna. With therapy, a new job, and a supportive community, she began rebuilding her life. Regular updates about Jacob, coupled with occasional visits, kept her spirit hopeful. Though the pain of separation lingered, the promise of a brighter tomorrow and potential reconnections in Jacob's adult life remained. As years went by, Lisa often marveled at the serendipity of life. From a chance encounter at the hospital to the deep bond she now shared with Jacob, their journey was a testament to love's power. Unexpected turns had led them together, proving that sometimes destiny has a way of intertwining lives in the most beautiful manner.